Hello my friends, welcome back to my world of programming. My name is Tumitadi. So I'm still busy with a mini series on a feature that I know you'll find it very helpful. It's called the trials and subscriptions feature. So we are done with part 1. Please, I'm gonna highly recommend you watch this video first. You understand why we did this as sample data for us to understand what was the problem and what is the proposed solution. So before we go further, I'm gonna highly recommend this a personal YouTube channel of mine. It's all about programming. You'll find it very helpful. And also, all the videos, including part 1, they're all uploaded on License Heading Tips YouTube channel. The videos there are short, simple, straight to the point. It's me giving you the taste of what to expect if you wanna learn C#, if you wanna learn programming, if you wanna learn frameworks in .NET, right? So let's continue. According to our agenda, we are done with part 1. We're going to look at part 2, which is line number 92 on MVC. So let's go to Visual Studio. I want to fire this project. And then this project is going to run locally. So this part is going to be, let me first copy this, cancel that, and let's open a new tab. I need everything organized here. So this part 2 is going to be, we're going to look at what makes line number 92 on login page. So let's go to the login page. Here's the login page, and please know that I've covered videos talking about all of this. These pages are part of a scaffolding identity, right? So I've already set a breakpoint on line number 85. What I'm interested in line number 92. Like I said, if you want to learn now programming in C#, this is where you need to pay attention. Like I said, start with part 1 to understand what was the problem and what is the proposed solution. So we said Jacob activated a trial. I'll make an example with an account I'm about to create, right, at a later stage. So let's say we're making a scenario. The trial was activated at 11:19, right? And then we're expecting this thing to end at 12:19 because my system allows users to create account and activate them for an hour, right? So that's an hour. And this will be a Sonia subscription. From Friday 13:55, it's gonna end next week Thursday, 7 days 13:55. So I want to show you that I can use login. This login, if I go and log in right now, I'm not gonna log in, but as soon as you click login, it's gonna hit this breakpoint, and we want to start what goes into this line number 92. Does it make sense? Good. Let's go and log in. So I'm gonna use this account and log in. It's gonna stop at the breakpoint. Remember, I'm running locally. I'm in a development mode. I'm not in production mode. But this is the same thing that goes into production mode. So I want you to pay attention. So it hit the breakpoint, and there we go, right? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna check, hey, is the model state valid? That means, did the end user supply email and a password, right? So we are checking that. Let's see. Yes, they supplied. Now, the breakpoint is exactly on line number 92. So I want us to look at this. What on earth is this guy? Where does this guy come from? Why is it calling this method, right? So let's go a bit up all the way to the top. You see, this is where now this guy is. It's an IAPI service. So it's a private read only. That means there's a service of that type. Let's go and take a look at it. I'm going to go to a folder called services. I'm going to go to a folder called API because I know this system. I'm the one that built it. Inside API folder, I have this IAPI service, right? The one that the login model it's making use of. So as soon as I go inside, it's a public interface. And remember, in C#, when you have an interface, you need to start with I. Like in this case, IAPI service. It's an interface. It has only one method, asynchronous method, which is a check trials and subscription async. Now, in C# and as a programmer, the one I'll be teaching and mentoring in tutoring, you need to make sure that firstly you have the comments so that we can see what's going on each and every file, right? So the name of the method, it's very descriptive. It makes sense. What we are saying is we are checking trials and subscriptions async. That means that this will happen asynchronously. Now, this class API service, it implements what? their interface. So public class API service, it implements IAPI service. So I have a global variable which is HTTP client, and inside the constructor I'm initializing that, and then I'm using to say the timeout. I don't want you to time out for the next 10 minutes. So that means we're gonna keep the connection alive for the next 10 minutes, because some people that are living in an environment where the connectivity, it really sucks, right? So, and this is my standard for all my services. Good. So inside here, this method, you see now we are implementing this method because we are implementing that interface. So we have to make sure that this method is part of this class. Public async task check trials and subscriptions async. So we are first starting with a var JSON, where we are converting and serializing object. So the object, I can't show you that API key, but it comes from credentials, and credentials is a very sensitive class, right? Then I have HTTP content, where we are saying the content type is going to be application JSON, because remember, I'm about to ask this guy to send a request to the web API, and that is going to be this project. This one, we're calling it, I call it web API, ASP.NET web API. Some people call it backend, while others call it RESTful service, while others call it web service, right? So in order for me to talk to it, I need to serialize and give it something that it will be known. So in this case, that's how I protected that guy to say, listen, any request that comes to you needs to have a serialized object, which is the API key. Good. Then I have this guy, even though I'm not getting the response, but the best practice, you need to check the state of this guy, right? So what I'm saying is await HTTP client post async, right? There's a URL. You see this URL? That's a URL, and then there is a key, a API key, and then that's what is expected, by the way. Good. So now you know where these guys are coming from. But remember, the services, they have to be registered. Where do we register them? On installers. So if you go to DB installer and we scroll down, you see, there we go, line number 43, services.add singleton API service, and this will be the implementation of it. So now you know. So then this what happens. Line number 32, then I'm saying private read only API service. I'm gonna give you this field, right? And then I'm using the constructor to resolve the services, right? Using constructor injection, part of dependency injection. So then this guy, that's what the breakpoint is currently. So now I'm gonna do what? I'm gonna go into that method. Check this. There we go. You see the breakpoint? It's on line number 20. I'm gonna continue, and then I want to end here. As soon as I end here, right? So I'm gonna get there. So what is the response? So let's see, can we get the response? So what it did, it went outside my local dev development, it went into production, and it went to get, you see, now we have the response. There we go. So let's see. The response say it's 200. And if it's 200, it simply means that everything was good. That means we were able to reach the web API server wherever it is. And then we were able to be authenticated using that API key. And then it was able to do whatever it needed to do. And that's a whole lot, right? Okay, and that's it. And then I'm gonna let it play. And then in a few seconds, it's gonna allow us to log in. And now we are in. And in the next part, we're gonna talk about this, right? But just to wrap up, here we are using every single user who logs in to check the trials and subscriptions if their time is not yet over. I can teach you all of this for 25 Rand per session. That session is a full hour long on Microsoft Teams, any day from Monday to Friday. In that hour, if you want me to teach you how I built this system, License Handy Tips, it's a fully integrated system that has to do with the database, MVC framework, Web API framework, .NET MAUI for both Android and iOS. I can teach you all of this for 25 Rand an hour, right? On Microsoft Teams. If you know anyone, this is good for them. Student, those doing CAD, it doesn't matter. Stay tuned for part 3. You're going to love part 3. Until next time.